Grace to you. There's a scripture in the book of Ephesians where Paul says to the church in Ephesus, we are saved by grace through faith. What does it mean? I was just challenged by someone who could not accept the fact that I say, you have to accept what Christ has done for you in order to be born again. She said to me, no, with God, He chooses, He declares, no. That God is not my God. That God is Allah. That God is the God of Islam. Islam means submission. That God is the one that says, you I like, I put into heaven. You I don't like, I put into hell. That is the God that I don't want to serve. I don't want to know, because that is the God that forces me to do something. In other words, He says, the only way that you can come to heaven is get yourself killed and kill as many innocent people as you can, and then maybe I'll think, demons. That's what we're talking about. Demons. However, when Paul says that we are saved by grace through faith, he's not talking about a natural birth. The natural birth can be planned and can be not planned. This woman was saying to me, since when do the children choose or accept their parents? No, they don't. But then again, the parents don't accept or choose the child either. A trip to the disco, drink a little bit too much to drink, back in the back seat of the car, and there you go, and there comes the child. They didn't, father and mother didn't choose to have the child didn't choose to be chosen. So, moral of the story is that you can have a birth that is not natural, that is not planned. But you know what? You cannot have an adoption that is not planned. Because the adoption, you go to the agency and you choose to adopt a child. And especially in those days, in the days of Rome, you wouldn't adopt a little baby normally. You would adopt a youth. You would adopt a young man. You would a man of 20, 30 years old. Why? Because they didn't have a worthy enough son, and so they were looking for somebody else unto whom to leave their substance, and so they would adopt. So they would come and they would offer this offer of adoption, and the person could say yes or could say no. And this is what Paul is talking about in Romans, in Galatians, in Ephesians. He's talking about adoption, but the spirit of adoption by which we cry out, Abba, Father, is not a natural birth. It's an adoption birth. We are adopted into the family of Christ, into the family of God, and it's an offer. And when it says we are saved by grace through faith, it's very simple. Grace is the totality of what was needed. Grace is the cross. Grace is the blood of Christ that has saved the world, the whole world. For God so loved the world that He shed the blood of Christ, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in it shall never perish but have eternal life. So the cross of Christ has done everything. The blood of Christ has done everything. The cross and the blood are complete. They don't need anything. The grace of God is complete. God says to you, I have paid for your debt. I have purchased your life with my death. Now, will you receive that? That's the only thing that real love does. Real love gives you the choice. That's why Islam doesn't give you the choice. Because Allah doesn't love you. Allah wants to control you. Allah wants to submit you and subject you. So, we are saved by grace. But is that enough? And no, that's not enough, because then the whole world, which by the way is redeemed and is potentially saved, needs to accept the salvation in order to be saved, this redemption in order to be saved. So we know that the whole world is not going to heaven. So what is the other factor needed? Well, simple. The second half of the scripture says we are saved by grace through faith. In other words, grace has done everything. But faith receives what grace has done. Otherwise, grace is not enough on its own, and faith is not enough of its own. If God produces salvation, but you don't want it, there you go. And if you want salvation, but God did not produce it, there you go. You need the grace, the cross, the blood, and the faith, the acceptance, and the thanks. It's like, imagine someone in the desert is dying of thirst. Is there 50 degrees, 55 degrees in the shade? Is there like a fish just about to die? And I show up, and what do you think that person needs? Does it need a Bible? No, I don't think so. What does it need? Does it need a map to the next oasis? No. Does it need a book of instructions on how not to get lost in the desert? No. You know what he needs? He needs water. He needs water. Simple water. Life to a dying man is water. Life to a man in the desert that's dying of dehydration is not a book, is not a concept. It's water. It's simple water. So I come, I show up, and I say, yeah, I've got water. I got your salvation. I got your life. Can you imagine how stupid he would be if he said to me, no, but I don't deserve it. That's what religion does. I don't deserve it. But who asked you to deserve it? I'm here. I'm giving it to you. I don't know you. I don't even know who you are. I'm bringing you life. Will you please take it and survive and be saved? Another stupid question is, no, but I haven't got anything to pay with. But who asked you to pay? It's for free. Grace is for free. The work of the cross is for free. You have been saved by grace. Grace offers, but it's faith that receives. So what does he have to do? Thank you. You just have to receive it. Drink and be saved. God bless you.
Evangeli